Good morning, happy Foodie Friday. It's Tanya here. I just want to welcome you into my kitchen and thank you so much for stopping by. Before I go any further, I'll just introduce myself in case this is the first time you've met me before. You have landed on mine and my husband's business page. We are digital business owners and we have been for over 5 years. And we're now living here in Alberta, Canada with 2 of our children, and the other one is still living in Ontario, but she's actually coming home for the holidays today. So I'll be going to pick her up at the airport later. And normally I do these Foodie Fridays a little bit later on in the morning, but because I'm gonna have to get a good start on the road, it's about a 2.5 hour drive to the airport, I thought I would get on here a little earlier and share with you what I'm going to bake with you today. So again, if you are new here, I'd love to hear from you. Mention where you're from. I'd love to know how global we are. We always like to give a shout out and just acknowledge our new followers. And hopefully I'm giving you some value here, something that you can do over the holidays for yourself, or maybe even after this video. All the ingredients I have here are basically what you'd already find in your kitchen. There isn't much extra, except for if you don't have maybe nuts on hand. So again, welcome to my kitchen. I'm super excited today to talk about baking. We're not gonna talk about business today. And what I like to offer is one recipe every week that, again, you can use or you can do for yourself at home. And also, if you want to share the finished product, I would also love for you to come back and share that on this post. So without further ado, today we are actually not going to do a cookie. I was planning on doing a cookie, but I actually ended up with some extra instant oats. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll do the reverse. I will look for a recipe that calls for the oats that I can use up. And who doesn't like oatmeal in their cookies? I mean, or even squares. So I found this cute little square and it's very simple to do. So you don't have to be on here long. It's just gonna be quick, and it's actually a layered square. So the base will be more like a shortbread oatmeal square, layer. And then we will put the chippets and the walnuts on top, let that melt, and then put the remaining leftover from the first mixture onto the top. And then afterwards, we drizzle it with caramel, and oh my gosh, it looks so amazing. So the first part I will be able to do with you. The second part I will have to do the baking part, because that will take some time, and I don't want to take up too much of your precious time, because I know how that is, especially at this time of year. So I do also want to say happy holidays in case I don't see you again. Thank you again for stopping by. So without further ado, as I mentioned, the first thing that I do, and what you should do, is preheat the oven so that while you're working, your oven can be ready to go. So we are going to be putting the oven at 350. Okay, now that's ready to go. And I've also prepared my 9x9 square pan. So this one just is a smaller recipe, doesn't call for a whole lot of ingredients. As a matter of fact, the only amount of flour that you're gonna need in this one is only a cup. So like I said, most of these ingredients you're gonna find that are in your pantry or in your cupboard. The other thing I wanna talk about is, what are your plans for this weekend? I mean, here we are, December 15th already. Here in Canada, it is foggy for us. Actually in Lethbridge, we are about 2 hours south of Calgary, if you know where that is in Canada. And maybe it's afternoon or evening for you. So I'd love to hear from you, and what your weather is looking like and how you're gonna celebrate the holidays coming forward. So again, today my plan is to go and pick up my daughter from the airport, and then she'll be here for the next 3 weeks for us to enjoy her company. Okay, so the first one is, as I mentioned, we're gonna put everything in one bowl. So I love that. When it's a one bowl sort of recipe, it makes it a lot easier, and a lot less dishes, and so much easier to combine everything when it's all in one. And one more tip as well, if you are new to baking, one of the best things to do is to grab all your ingredients all at once, so that while you're going through the recipe, you don't have to keep going back and rereading what are the things that you are going to need for the next step. So if you grab everything, you've got it right in front of you. You can go ahead and measure everything, and then you can be on your way. So I am going to, first of all, add the flour, and sorry, I just had a call coming in there. The flour was 1 cup, and then we've got 3/4 of a cup of instant oats, so not the rolled oats kind, not the old fashioned. So just want to make that clear. And then we've got 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, and we've got half teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And again, you'll get the recipe. I will put it in the comments afterwards. And 3/4 of a cup of melted butter. So I've already gone ahead and done that as well. So I'm just gonna combine everything together. Super, 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 super easy. So I'm just gonna give this a quick stir. So I'm just wondering too, do you have snow there? I mean, we had a couple days where we had the snow come and then it was gone within maybe 2 or 3 days. And now we're seeing sunshine. And as a matter of fact, we had a 16-degree day last week, which is unheard of for December around here. So I'm not complaining. I love the sun. I'm a summer baby myself. So I thoroughly enjoy the sun and the warmth and all that kind of stuff. Winter is not really my scene. But you know, if we're in the mountains and we're hiking or we're snowshoeing, or I'm watching the kids and Derek snowboarding or skiing, that's a lot of fun. And of course with our dog Neo, usually that's what I am in charge of. I'm in charge of taking care of Neo, and then while they're skiing, I'll take him to the dog park, and then we'll just do our own little, you know, short hike or little walk throughout the area, and it's so nice. And where we usually take the kids skiing and snowboarding is about an 1.5-hour drive, so it's not bad considering that used to be my husband's drive every day. He used to drive an 1.5 hours each way to his job when we lived in Ontario. So we're so thankful to be living here now in Alberta, and we have been for the last 3 years. So going to the mountains is definitely not a chore. It's actually very relaxing and quite scenic for us, and Derek, you know, thoroughly enjoys it. He doesn't mind driving, but he especially likes driving when he's got, you know, something nice to look at, and it's just so freeing to be in the open space. You know, if you've ever, you know, been in something like that before, depending on where you live. Okay, so now I've got it all combined, and I've actually divided it in half. They say to put the first half on the bottom and then save some of the crumble for the top for later. And so that's what I'm going to do. So right now I'm just going to put this in the square baking pan, and you know, I'm gonna grab one more utensil because I think I've got a flat spatula that I think will work wonders to be able to flatten this down as a bottom base layer. Okay, it just looks like this. So I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna spread it along, and that's the thing, it can be a little bit crumbly, but just know that once you start pushing it down, it will come together and form your base. So I'm just gonna spread it myself here. I might actually end up using more of the crumble because I'm noticing it's not spreading as much as I want it to. So I'm gonna take a little bit more because it really doesn't matter. For the second part, you really do want a good base. The second part is really just for the crumble. So you can sacrifice that a little bit. So I'm just gonna push that all in. And it's almost spread. I'll just show you in the meanwhile, so you're not waiting this entire time while I'm doing this. So just to give you an idea of now what it looks like, because it was crumbly. So now I'm just spreading it around like that. And the butter, because it's a melted butter, it will start to spread as well. And you'll be able to get it right to the edges like you're supposed to. All right, well, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this short series of the Oatmeal Carmelita squares today. And maybe this is something that you can serve on your Christmas cookie, Christmas dessert tray. Something different. It's going to be a square rather than a cookie. So it's kind of nice to have, you know, cookies, squares, you know, even tarts, muffins, you know, it's nice to have a variety on your dessert tray. So again, I do thank you for stopping by. If you're watching this on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. Please, you know, write in the comments where you're coming in from. I'd love to know how far I reached today. Sometimes it's across the world, so maybe it's nighttime for you and it's just the morning for me. So again, I appreciate you. Thank you for following, and I can't wait to come on here again next Friday, and hopefully we'll have a special guest next Friday that will join me here in the kitchen. All right, well, have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week ahead, and we'll come on again next week for Foodie Friday. Take care and bye for now.